Hi, welcome to the New Zealand Wines Podcast. I'm Neil Phillips and I'm delighted to have with me today New Zealand wine expert Chris Scott. Now, what we're going to talk about today is champagne and sparkling wine, and we're going to actually recommend some sparkling wines as an alternative to champagne. Now, Chris, help me out here.
The key thing about sparkling wine is acidity. It's all about acidity and highlighting the bubbles, and because it's got that acidity, it works with a lot of food. You can match it with greasy, oily fish, fish and chips, for example.
Fish and chips?
Exactly. The same reason you put vinegar on your fish and chips, you can drink it with sparkling wine. The vinegar is to sort of give you that balance between the fattiness and the fish and chips. It just balances it out. The acidity works the same way.
But what we're going to do is, let's taste some wine, because what we've got is this Montana sparkling wine. This is made out of 80% Chardonnay. This comes from South Island, which I mentioned earlier. Now, one of the things is the two key grape varietals which we were talking about are Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. And what can Chardonnay do in terms of, what does it bring to the wine?
Chardonnay gives a fatness. Pinot Noir is often considered the structure. It gives a lot of the acidity to the wine and is the backbone of sparkling wine. And Chardonnay gives you a roundness and a fullness within it. So if you like your sparkling wines to be fuller and just rounder, you'd go for a more Chardonnay-dominated sparkling wine. If you like a bit of structure to your wines, and probably maybe slightly better food matching as well, you'd probably go for more of a Pinot Noir-dominated wine.
Okay. Well, let's try this Montana sparkling wine now.
It's got that nice breadiness on the nose and mouth, and a lemony character just at the finish, which helps just cleanse your palate, which is quite nice.
I really like that fruit intensity on that, actually. I'm really getting that Chardonnay character coming through. Now, that was the Montana sparkling wine. That's available at $8.99 from all major retailers. Now, we're going to move on to Lindauer, which I was talking about earlier on. This Lindauer Brut. Now, this is made in North Island in New Zealand, a little bit warmer there, and they certainly have to pick a little bit earlier, don't they, just to get that fruit right, get
freshness,
get that crispness.
For sure.
So this is a mixture of 6% Chardonnay and 40% Pinot Noir.
On the nose, you're starting to get more red fruits coming through. It's probably got a bit more red fruits, maybe a wee bit less yeasty and breadiness, but still there, definitely there. Good, solid sparkling wine. You know, it's not too lean as well. There's a nice fatness in the mouth, which is still very pleasant.
Yeah, and actually one of the other things, folks, is don't forget to get rid of that detergent out of these glasses before you serve it up, because otherwise all those bubbles will disappear very quickly. So we're now going to move on to the Lindauer Special Select, in actual fact, which is... What they do here is this is slightly different because they've got a little bit more Pinot Noir in this versus the Chardonnay. It's about 60% Pinot Noir, 40% Chardonnay. And this is a little bit weightier. Certainly something, you were talking about food earlier on, I think this really goes well with food. Again, it's still nice and fat. It's not as lean as maybe some sparkling wines, and therefore it's just a lot easier to drink. Some sparkling wines can be very, very acidic, and after a couple of glasses, you do want to move on to another wine. With a wine like that, you could probably drink that most of the night. One thing people often think is put a silver spoon in the top of the sparkling wine. Have you heard that rumour before? Yes, I have. Come on.
It's a myth. It's a complete and utter myth. There's only one way to protect your sparkling wine, or two ways. Either you drink the whole lot, or you can get a cap that just goes on the top, and that's called a champagne stopper, and that'll stop the bubbles coming out. But it's a myth. Don't ever bother about putting a silver spoon in the top.
So there you go. Very important fact for today, folks. So that's $9.99. That's available from all the major specialists. Right, rosé. Now, one of the things about rosé, I love rosé wine. I love drinking rosé wine all year round. It's got incredibly popular in this country. I mean, 10 years ago, it was only about 1% of the market. It's nearly 10% of sales now. You know, why? I mean, still rosé's got very popular. And why is sparkling rosé getting so popular as well? What are the main reasons, do you think?
I think it's maybe usually when they're making a sparkling rosé, they're not going for as much of that yeasty, bready aromas, and they're normally going for a bit more easygoing red fruits going in there. Strawberries, raspberries. So it's normally just a completely different style of fizz.
Now, this is 60% Chardonnay, 40% Pinot Noir. And just get a bit of that strawberry on the nose. That's great.
Just red berry fruits coming through.
Very nice, very soft.
Certainly, you know, if you're having a group of friends over or anything like that, or even just as we're saying, just you and your partner, it's a lovely wine, just as a general all-round everyday sparkling wine.
Thanks very much, Chris, for coming in today.
Not a problem.
Folks, you've had some great tips, you've had some great food wine matching, we've talked about spoons as well, but the main thing is get out there and get into buying some of these New Zealand sparkling wines. They're really good value.